Hi, I'm Stephen Robert Cass. I'm a worship leader, a songwriter, an artist, an author, and an audio engineer. If you want to know more about leading worship, being on a worship team, being a member, how to be a worship songwriter, how to self-publish books, and how to get free new worship songs for your church, and hear about mixing songs in church, you're in the right place. Please stay tuned to this channel because all of my audiobooks are uploaded here for free at YouTube. You'll find the audiobook, The 5 Keys to a Clear Mix, right up here today that you can listen to. But I'm not here to talk about this book today. I'm here to talk about mixing sound at church. So let's get to it. Take notes on what you hear from the band in each of these points. What do you need to learn to solve these issues? If you are a sound mixer with experience, these points can seem obvious. Let these serve as markers for you to begin the necessary conversations that lead to solutions. Remember, you are a member of the worship team. You should have conversations on a regular basis with your worship leader and all team members. Okay, subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on this video so that you will be notified of future video planned, so that you will be notified of the future videos planned that solves the problems you encounter for each of these points. Remember, the point of this video is, and all of my videos on sound mixing, is not to make you a technical expert at sound mixing, but rather to help make you proficient as a sound mixer and a member of the worship team. As a worship leader, I am an advocate of finding the best possible participatory experience for the congregation and the best communication of team and church priorities. My hope is to encourage you to desire to become a technical expert at your instrument, no matter what that instrument is. All right, here we go. Clarity. Number 1, can all musicians and singers be heard? Okay, try this. With eyes closed, try identifying each musical instrument and vocal. If something can't be heard in the mix, ask why. This is important. At your usual maximum overall volume level, as well as the master fader is pulled all the way down when the fader is all the way down to 0. You will hear how the players sound in the room without the PA. Trust me, this will be quite eye-opening. Somewhere in between these extremes will be your sweet spot for the band's volume level. Determine if the instrument cannot be heard because the volume is too low, because another instrument is too sonically similar, or whether the stage volume is overwhelming your mix. Maybe an electric guitar or a keyboard amplifier, or maybe a wedge monitor is too loud on stage. Another example would be the kick drum and bass separation. Also, electric guitar swells and keyboard synth pads can sound similar. 2. Can the lead vocalist be heard and understood? The verse lyrics are just as important as those in the chorus and the bridge. The congregation should be delivered clarity of every word sung. So the issue is, shouldn't the lead vocalist be heard above the rest of the band? Of course. What issues do you have in your church that are keeping you from hearing this reality? Part A of this question, the lead vocalist doesn't use the mic consistently. They pull away from the mic, they're too far from the mic, they eat the mic, they sing too softly, etc. All the above. Part B of this question, there's no headroom on the mixing board for the lead vocal to be louder. What is headroom? You can't move the slider up any farther and you can't make it up any louder, right? Part C of this question, there's a competing instrument, voice or frequency. Some solutions might seem obvious to how I worded these statements. Take notes and stay tuned, and we'll dig deeper into these, towards possible fixes. 3. Is it clear which instrument leads the song? Be it techno, country, pop, folk, whatever, one instrument is usually clearly the lead. It's distinct, the one all other instruments are layered under. This also includes backup vocals, which are there to support the lead vocal, obviously, and the rest of your mix. Treat backup vocals as a single instrument that needs to be layered with the other instruments. Try to listen to professional recordings of each song prior to the service, noting the lead instrument and how the EQ and effects of the other instruments make space for it. Sculpt the overall sound of the song by using your instrument, the mixing console. 4. Do the instruments have distinct sounds? Instruments having distinct sounds will help you solve the previous question. Not only that, but you will also honor each member and each instrument by giving a clear sonic picture for the listener. Tighten up the frequency characteristics of each instrument. Get an instrument frequency chart to familiarize yourself with all of the range of with the range of all instruments. Begin to visualize their sonic spectrum and the unique signature sound of each. Each instrument and vocal should have a distinct sound, right? Including single back vocals. Multiple backing vocals, again, like I said, should be presented as one instrument. Frequencies should overlap, perhaps, but when 3 instruments sound like one, work on instrument clarity. For example, you will clarify your mix when cutting the low-end frequency on guitars. This will provide sonic space for the bass guitar and the kick drum, and that will also help to enhance the bass and kick separation. Number 5. Are you in the middle of a volume war? The definition of a volume war is when a singer or a musician cannot hear themselves, and then they request that their voice or instrument be raised in the monitor. Their performance becomes louder and louder in the stage monitor, and then the level of that stage monitor adds to the volume in the room. The extreme of this situation is that the stage monitor volume exceeds the main loudspeaker for the congregation, or overwhelming any chance you may have at making any difference, creating a mix behind the soundboard. When the volume of one person is raised in a monitor, another person might have trouble hearing themselves and request that their voice or instrument is louder than that their voice or instrument becomes louder in the monitor, and on it goes. This isn't as great of an issue with larger venues. However, this will always depend on the particular room, and it's certainly a factor to be aware of in any room. This is real particular for churches because most churches are small rooms. So it's a problem. This problem rears its ugly head especially there. Those spaces are always going to be a challenge. Even before you reach the extreme of this situation, the consequences begin to mount, not only for the congregation, but for each singer and player. It most certainly affects their performance. I know this to be true as both a performer and a sound engineer. There is much to discuss regarding this topic. It's a critical one, to be sure. However, for now, your goal is to recognize how the volume war is affecting your mix, and how that affects the sound presentation to your congregation. Number 6. Does a vocal sound squashed? Compression is a beautiful tool, but unfortunately it's one that can be way overused. Too much compression takes the life out of a voice. Compression is a tool that can be used to help your clarity, however, only as you are in control of it. It's easy to get out of control with compression. Look into your particular soundboard setup and remove any compression right now from your channel overall mix until the time is spent to learn it, to actually hear the effects from it. If the compression is present on a board and is currently active on it at the request or direction of the worship leader, yet you as the sound mixer do not understand how it is set, learn where to adjust its level. Listen to the difference as you raise and lower the level and have a conversation with your worship leader as to its effectiveness. Or if its presence is causing clarity issues for the other vocals or other instruments in the mix. Cutting back on the compression on a squashed vocal can help it come to life. It can also help providing mix clarity between the vocals and other instruments or other voices. If any particular voice or instrument is low, it may be that it's squashed by the compressor. And beware, because when you remove that compression, that channel may become too loud in the mix. Sound check. Okay. Look at your notes. Are you getting new ideas for your next rehearsal? Are questions forming in your mind for your worship leader? Good. That's why I'm doing this video. Now, take a break get a beverage, review your notes, and re-watch the previous portion of this video if it's necessary. That was the longest part of this video and probably the most important. Next, we're going to be moving on to the questions of energy. How you can use your instrument to be proactive and to enhance the songs and the time of worship in your church. Energy. Is the mix generating the expected energy? Live mixing is about the moment. The energy level of the band affects the energy of the congregation, and that's translated via the mix. Remember, this isn't a concert. There may be times when the worship band is performing a song for the congregation to sit back and enjoy, but there it was, just in the way that I just said that. Most of the music time at churches is for the purpose of engaging the congregation, not to sit back and enjoy, but to lean forward and enjoy, to stand and to participate. Your church may have music intended as a message. If so, that's okay. That's the flavor of your church. But my view is if you're going to call it worship, then you should spend the greater portion of it engaging others and exhorting the people to sing and to worship God with the songs. The most important instrument of a worship song isn't the lead singer. It's the sound of the church singing the song. Let me say that again. The most important instrument of a worship song isn't the lead singer. It's the sound of the church singing the song. As the sound mixer, you may not have control over how the song is presented for the active participation, but you do have control over amplifying what is presented by the worship team, by the worship band. Powerful control. Your instrument, the soundboard, will enhance the song in the mixing moments by your proactive movements, something I call dynamic mixing. So, is your mix generating the expected energy of the song? Here are the areas of dynamic mixing that we will explore in a future video. 1. Lead vocal volume, level writing. This is actively adjusting the volume of the lead vocal during the song. It enhances the clarity and adds to the energy of the song. 2. Momentary instrument ducking. Sometimes it's best when an instrument is highlighted during a passage of a song. This might require a temporary reduction in level of another instrument or voice. 3. Inter-song instrument volume level arranging. As mentioned under clarity, there is often a primary instrument for a song, and the other instruments are layered underneath it. This could change during a song's chorus, but it might need to return for the song's verse, for example. 4. Temporary EQ adjustments. Sometimes an instrument needs to help shine during a song's passage. This can be accomplished with temporary EQ adjustments. 5. Sound effect management. Compression, chorus, phase, reverb, flange, delay. Is there others? Is any of it needed? And when? For example, would a song sound better if the reverb changed from a verse to chorus? At the same time, if it is not purposeful, don't use it. Number 8. Does the mix vary within the song? This one's tough because a bland song arrangement makes a mix variation very hard. A song can grow stale between the first verse and the final chorus when there is no movement or no arrangement choices or changes. As stated above in the expected energy section, you can experiment with the volume level differences between instruments from verse to chorus. For example, what if the drums were softer during the verse but then had more attack during the chorus? The goal is to give the song movement. And yes, you should have a conversation with the drummer to make those changes, but absent from that, you have the control over the volume and the EQ and the sound effects. A good arrangement of a song makes mix variation much easier. An instrument drops out during the bridge, or a guitar patch changes in the final verse or chorus. These are just opportunities to modify the mix. And these are dynamic mixing changes, and they will emotionally connect with the congregation. Number 9, does an effect benefit the sound? There are 2 types of effects that can be used to help control volume or dynamics, as well as to remove excess hissing noise from amps: compression and gating. But you can also use compression and gain to enhance the style of the song. Listen to the channel that has these effects and see, if they make a difference in the song. After you flip them off or on again, which sounds better? Effects should only be used if they enhance the song. The electric guitarist, for example, might have a stable of effects he or she uses for their song, and there are style choices for the instrument and that song. But no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sound effects that you can add from behind the mixer. Extra effects placed on the band, such as reverb and delay, should only be tastefully added. Use effects because they enhance or benefit the song. The overuse or misuse of effects can destroy a good mix as well as the energy. Number 10, are you using the entire sonic spectrum for your mix? Most voices and instruments use common mid-range frequencies such as 800 Hz to 2K Hz. This is the next step and a proactive move to number 4 above. Do the instruments have distinct sounds? Along with finding which frequencies work best for the certain instruments and voices to establish clarity. Are you looking to exaggerate some of those frequencies or to maybe allow that voice or instrument to shine a little brighter during some of the passages, for example? Listen and decide how the mix sounds with some of these choices. For example, more sizzle on the cymbals, a click sound on the bass drum, or the brightness on an acoustic guitar, and that can make a mix stand out. Honing your craft. Are you open to someone critiquing your live mix? You should be. Seeking feedback on a regular basis on your handiwork is an important part of your growth as a sound engineer. We don't have the time to meticulously craft a song like a studio engineer, but we have been called to be a part of the worship team and to present our best for the time we have behind the mixer. Find another sound engineer at church or just ask people you trust for their opinion on the sound of the band. You will learn more by having conversations you will learn more by having these conversations than you will looking at many websites. Not that the information on websites are bad, but having a conversation makes you think. It opens possibilities you may not have thought of before, possibilities that are directly related to your situation. Sound mixers, will you partner with your worship leader to figure this out? Worship leaders, can you make a plan to partner with your sound engineer? In other words, no matter your role in the church, you need to take the next steps. Regardless of your audio experience, make plans that move you towards worship team membership. Maybe you're a worship leader with little audio experience, and you need to team up with the sound engineer to learn together. All these questions are about the willingness to learn, which lead to the confidence you can have behind the mixing console. Together, you are much stronger. Lean on each other. Learn from each other. Take the time for church live mix audio training. There are many resources, but start here with my book, The 5 Keys to a Clear Mix. Create your mix philosophy for Christian artists, songwriters, and church sound mixers. This is an introductory book to mixing music that shares the 5 fundamental principles in creating an audio presentation. And you need these to get on your own path to understanding sound mixing philosophy. Begin by understanding these 5 principles so you can mix live sound at church, make song demos, and mix records. Pick up a copy today at getyoursongsheard.com or listen to the audiobook for free here on this YouTube channel. I am passionate that you take the time to find the right teacher to take you further on this worship team journey. I am here for you, and I can recommend some great resources, great websites, training sessions, and books. And I am a worship leader and musician with a lot of experience. I've been playing and singing and mixing music at church since 1970. I've been in the recording studio and making records and demos since 1978. Won't you join me? Take a listen to this audiobook here at this YouTube channel today. There will be future videos on this YouTube channel on each of these points I've talked about here today on the live mix in church checklist. And digital mixers are very powerful in your hands today. You can accomplish so many mixing moves, so many smart mixing moves that are associated with digital consoles that are also associated with these 10 points that I talked about today. And I want to share some of these secrets and moves that I've learned. The next time you think about your mixing situation at church, ask yourself these 10 questions and see how they can lead you to better mixing and a better time of worship at your church. Thanks so much for listening, and please subscribe and ring the bell so you can receive notifications about new videos. Take care.